What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you part 3 in our story of Divinity 2. So, last episode, we wrested the battle tower from the hands of Lakin the Necromancer and awakened our dragon powers. So, in this episode, starting things off right where we left off, really. After defeating Lakin and finding the spell to find the Hall of Echoes in Maxos' old bedroom, we have everything we need to move on. So Zandalor as well as Talana in our head inform us that what we need to do from here is gather the rest of the components for the spell to reach the Hall of Echoes to continue our mission to try to resurrect Yagurna, thus killing Damien. Now, in the first part of the game, we arrive in Broken Valley and we can explore and kind of do quests and everything in the Broken Valley area on foot. In the second part here, we come to an area called the Oribus Fjords, and this is more tailored around your dragon form. It's a lot of water areas that you have to fly around, a lot of little islands. It's basically tailored around your dragon form that you just recently received. However, it still functions in pretty much the same way. There's a central quest area as well as a bunch of quests to be found that you can do in and around the place. The main difference here is that instead of there being a linear narrative for the main story, it's broken up into 3 parts. So at this point, we just need to gather the rest of the things that we need to reach the Hall of Echoes, which are 3 specific things. And we can do them in any order at any time. However, they are level-based, like there are leveled bosses that are in each area, so it can be a little difficult if you try to go at it too soon, hence all the exploration you can do. But that said, nothing is actually stopping you from trying to do any of these things at any time. First things first, and we're just going to do this by the level requirement. I say requirement very loosely, but the general level of the things around you. So the first thing we do is we talk to a dragon, because only a true dragon can actually manifest a portal to the Hall of Echoes. You still need a spell to reveal it, but it takes a true dragon to actually even make that portal in the first place. There is a primordial cave in the Oribus Fjords, which is actually where we need to go. Now, in order to actually get into the deeper part of the cave, we need to do a small quest for 3 dragon statues that are in our way. So 3 dragon statues guard a door. They each ask you for a seed from an old tree. You go find these trees in the fjord. They each have you do a small task that usually involves killing something that's bothering them, and then bringing one of their seeds back to the corresponding statue, which then opens the door. And then after that, we can go through there, solve a couple of annoying puzzles, and then we can talk to none other than the Patriarch from Divinity. Now, this is an awesome conversation, especially from a lore perspective. It actually answers quite a few things. One, it does a much better job of explaining who the Patriarch is actually supposed to be than Divinity did. Now, in Divinity, all we really got on the Patriarch is that he's a very old dragon. That was basically it. However, in this, we find out that he is one of the oldest dragons, hence why he's called the Patriarch in the first place. But in addition to that, he is very close to creation itself. So even among dragons, he's pretty highly respected. Through this conversation, you can learn that the reason everyone calls him the Patriarch is that because his name is literally a piece of creation itself, and that if people speak his true name, it will spawn new things into existence. So he goes by the Patriarch instead. Now you can, again, have this really cool conversation where he kind of makes light of the whole situation with Damien, remarking that while Damien is a big deal to mankind in the grand cosmos, he is ultimately insignificant. Which I guess that's what you'd expect from an impossibly old dragon. He also comments on your status as a ex-dragon slayer, and basically talks about how, again, while insignificant to him, the fact that the dragon slayers hate everything draconic makes him hate them. But ultimately, us being a Dragon Knight, the last of our kind, he agrees to create the portal that we need. He creates it under one of the trees that we just recently did a quest for. Now, after this exchange, we are once again attacked by Damien, who sends more goons after us. We kill him, and we move on. Now, for the next item on our list, we actually need to go to Alaroth City, which, again, you might actually remember from Divinity. Alaroth was the healer town in Divinity. Now, what we actually need to do in Alaroth is pretty straightforward. We need to meet up with Zandalor and help him gather the shield that will protect us from the Hall of Echoes magic from just killing us outright. Alaroth City is actually pretty small. You go to the hub area in the Orbis Fjords, and you take a Zeppelin to the city. When you get to the city, you find out that it's having some troubles. There's a short interaction with Commander Road, who you may remember from earlier. Commander Road, however, trying to attack you, the person who has actually done a lot of good in the realm recently, gets Commander Road arrested, and they send you on your way, which I always thought was kind of funny. Now, that said, you go through the small linear area that is Alaroth City at this point. So Alaroth City is very small at this particular point in the game. Like, you can't do any real exploration. It's just like a short path up a road, and then you're at where you need to be, pretty much. So we meet up with Zandalor in this old ministry, and basically we help him close some hell portals that him taking the shield caused. And as soon as you're done with that, he gives you the shield and you can move on. There's really nothing to it. It's a bit annoying to try to close the rifts, however, because Zandalor does this like timed channeled spell that actually like literally has a timer. And if enemies hit him while he's doing this, it resets the timer completely. And on higher difficulties, this is ridiculous. It takes forever because he keeps getting reset because mobs will just run straight for him. And if you can't do anything about him fast enough, it just resets the timer. So it can be really, really annoying. But either way, once you get it done, there you go. You have the shield. You can move on. And that brings us to our very last thing. This is actually something I'm not a huge fan of about this game. And it's not even the game specifically. It's just how contrived this last little bit of questing is. So in addition to Maxos' spell to reveal the doorway to the Hall of Echoes, and the Patriarch having to make the doorway to the Hall of Echoes, we actually still need a sigil to unlock this portal/gateway to the Hall of Echoes. So the last thing we need is a sigil that has been told to us is in the possession of a demon named Baal. I guess, I don't know, I don't even pretend to try to know how to pronounce some of this stuff. But either way, we got to kill this demon, who I'm just going to call Baal for the time's sake. Now, we do this by actually going back to the Broken Valley. However, the Broken Valley is a toxic wasteland now, so we have to use our dragon form to fly above the fumes to keep from dying. Now, in our dragon form, we actually have to do a bit of digging around. As far as I know, there's nothing in the game that actually tells you where to get the key to the mines. Now, it is told to us by several characters that Baal is in these mines. However, if you actually go to the mines first, they're locked and you have to find the key. Now, if you do some digging around yourself, you'll eventually find it. It's not like impossible. However, as far as I know, there's nothing that actually tells you where this key is. But a little northwest of the mines in the Broken Valley, there's actually a tower you can go to where the foreman of the mines actually was chased off to and is kind of being trapped by Black Ring people. And if you help him out, he'll give you the key to the mines. You can then enter the mines, of course. There's not really any puzzle here. You just have to run around a little bit, kill a lieutenant who drops the key to the door that then leads to Baal. And then you kill him, and that's it. He drops the sigil stone, and you're done. Now, once you've killed Baal, and he is the highest level requirement of all this stuff, by the way, once you've done that, you're clear to go to the Hall of Echoes. So at this point, you can wrap up anything else you need to do, but once you go to the Hall of Echoes, you can't really turn back at all. So don't go to the Hall of Echoes until you're ready to go. But once you've done everything you wanted to do and are ready to continue the game, head to the Hall of Echoes, which is actually, again, under a tree that we recently spoke to in order to gain access to the Patriarch to begin with. So once we fly down there, use Maxos' spell to reveal the door, use the sigil and the Patriarch's blessing to get through the door, we find ourselves in the Hall of Echoes. So, the Hall of Echoes. We actually speak to a guy named Sharon, at the Hall of Echoes. Now, Sharon is what is known as a dream eater, or a memory eater, if you will. So these guys, they inhabit the Hall of Echoes, and their job is to basically strip the memories away from souls so that they can be turned into Source. Now, at this point, we don't really know a lot about Source, and neither does the video game, because they haven't gotten that far into the original Sin plotline. But because of all that going on, we know now the Memory Eater's main purpose is simply to rip the memories away from these souls, and then the raw source of them goes on to the gods, as per the cycle that they intentionally made. In order to resurrect Yagurna, you have to fight your way through the Hall of Echoes to her memories. So the Hall of Echoes is all about memories. You see a lot of that going on here. You come to a small arena. You have to fight 3 boss fights again from previous bosses you've already defeated who had made their way to the Hall of Echoes because you killed them. They come back to fight you again. Honestly, super annoying fight. So there's 3 rounds. You fight a previous boss for each round. Now, the first and the third are fine. They're pretty much straightforward. It's not really a lot going on. You just hit them till they die. It's very much so like the actual boss fights that they were to begin with. The second one, however, is actually Sasan, the stitched together Sasan from episode 2. I mention this one specifically because, for some reason, in this particular redone version of this fight, she has some ridiculous attack that even on the lowest difficulty will take 3/4 of your life bar, and on normal difficulty and above seems to just outright kill you if you aren't already healing when it's cast. So it's very strange. I genuinely don't know how you're supposed to avoid this. The best way I could do it is attack her immediately when she shows up and try to keep her stunned, because it's the only way I could do it on the higher difficulties. But that said, that annoying little side note aside, so from here, once we get that boss fight taken care of, we just kind of continue along the path, and then we reach Yagurna's memories. Now, here's where things get fun. So we enter her memories in order to change one of them, the one where she died, thus bringing her back to life, because weird Hall of Echoes magic stuff. We come into the memory, and we see Lucian the Divine about to behead Yagurna, as is canon story. And then from here, we have to fight all of them because we intervene. So we have to fight all the paladins, we have to fight Zandalor, and we have to fight Lucian the Divine in this memory. This is the last fight of the game originally, and we'll get to what I mean by that in just a second. So once we defeat all of these guys, we resurrect Yagurna. However, and this is where it gets fun, spoiler warning, but you're watching this video about the story, so not really necessary, but nonetheless, this is where the fun stuff begins. So we resurrect Yagurna. Turns out the reverse soul forge between Yagurna and Damien that's supposed to kill Damien upon Yagurna's resurrection is complete nonsense. It's just some stuff Damien made up to compel people to go try to resurrect this woman for him. Moreover, it has actually not been Talana's voice in your head the entire game. It's been Yagurna's. I don't care for that part of the story, I'm not going to lie to you. I think it would make more sense for the voice to have been Talana this whole time, because she wouldn't have known about this plot either, and it just would have made more sense. But apparently this woman is supposed to be calling me from beyond the grave the whole game. I don't care for that, but that is nonetheless what the game tells you is happening, is that it was actually Yagurna's voice telling you where to go and how to do things, pretending to be Talana the entire time. Damien is like, ha ha ha, we tricked you, because he shows back up, of course. And then, rather than kill you, they decide to mock you eternally, and he transports you to the realm of Hypnerotomachia, which is a mouthful word of just saying like a frozen place in time. And this is where our Dragon Knight learns that the Divine is actually not dead at all, because you were just imprisoned on the same plane he has been imprisoned since his death, supposedly, at the hands of Dragon Knights. We get a big long speech from the Divine that's obviously playing right now, and then that's apparently it. We're supposedly stuck in Hypnerotomachia forever. Now, here's the thing. Obviously, this video doesn't say final part because this is only the ending of the original game. They released an expansion called The Flames of Vengeance that added on to the story, which you probably know about by now because it's very old. And the fact that, you're looking into the story of Divinity just by watching this video tells you you've probably done at least a little research. And The Flames of Vengeance is the continuation of the Dragon Knight saga after this point. However, the ending of the original game, Damien just completely won. You did all of his work for him. Lucian and yourself are trapped in the plane of Hypnerotomachia. Now, this is where this is going to end. So, this is the end of episode 3 right here. In episode 4, we will tackle the Flames of Vengeance story expansion, which will be fun, I'm sure. But that is it for this episode. So if you guys liked it, please like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun YouTube jazz. Tell me how you feel about the story so far down in the comment section below. But thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.
Through war's crimson rivers. Time to wake up, my sleeping beauty.
My love, at last.
I battled tirelessly to release you from death's grip, and here you are, alive and free without my help. How?
I trained a pet. So acquiescent the little darling turned out to be. But I'll tell you all about that later. Is everything ready?
Oh yes, we are prepared. Come, my love. It is time for our conquest to begin.